operations management, right? That's supply chain. But in reality, in the current situation, right, given the globalization, given the details of the different function of each company in the supply chain, now companies pay more and more attention in supply chain management. One simple single I can show you is that, okay, we have so many C-level position, right? So the top level position is CEO. Everybody know that. Okay. Could you give us some other C-level positions name? CFO, great. COO, great. CIO, what is a CIO? Chief IT?
Yeah, usually.
Usually. In fact, it should be
I think it's
CTO, right? Chief
Technology
Technology Office, right? C. Chief Information, that can be CIO. And what else? CMO. A lot, you can mention that. That's a new position, not new, I mean, in the past 20 years, many companies add a new C-level position. It is called CSCO. What does this mean? Chief Supply Chain Officer. Many companies, for example, Unilever, this like consumer package industry company, they add this new position. It's a C-level position. One. The reason that this new position, bless you, is because supply chain become more and more important. Traditionally, okay, supply chain is covered by this position, right? Chief Operations Officer. What you are doing operation management, supply chain is your function, one function or subset of operation. But the reason why that's new position because okay, COO, he or she is so busy, and the supply chain becomes more and more complex. COO doesn't have enough energy to cover supply chain. So operation traditionally is focused on internal stuff, right? Our production, our quality control, a lot of internal things. But supply chain nowadays more and more about your partners, your supplier, your distribution center, your customers. So that's the reason we have more and more supply chain positions, even the C-level position. So that's why in the beginning of the class I say, okay, if you want to pursue a career in the supply chain, that can be a good choice, given the globalization, given so many problems. We like problem. Because of the problem, then there's opportunity, right? For example, fluctuation of inventory level, huge, because we have a very long supply chain, right? Our customer pattern changed a lot in the past 20 years. Okay, that's the reason we have inventory problem. Inventory stock outs, okay, that can be our supplies problem. That can be our like UPS problem. We have a UPS to deliver our stuff, right? That can be quality controls problem. But anyway, stock out, it's a huge problem. Delivery to our customer, quality control problem. Well, traditionally, quality control problem is our internal problem, right? We control each single part and the screw and each single part, right, of our products. But you think about like Ford, right? Many of parts in the Ford's car is not produced by Ford. Even iPhone is the same. Right? So this quality problem can be your supply chain problem. It can be the quality of your supplies. Can be the problem happen during delivery when they ship from Asia to here. Can be the like the other problems, standard difference for different continents. They all can create quality problem for your local customers. Maybe it's not a problem for other markets, international market, but it can be a problem for different regions. So that's why it's related to supply chain. Okay. Well, I think it's an opportunity. I like problem. You think about, okay, the reason we can have a job, we can do business because that's a problem. If there's no problem, we don't need to work. Who want to help us? They want to help us to solve the problem, right? To solve the problem. If you can't solve the problem, that's a big problem for you. Right? So I really like this problem. Okay, so that means opportunities. Elements of supply chain management, including customers. And forecasting will begin in 2 minutes. Right? Design, how to incorporate customer wants. Capacity planning, still answer the critical question we want to answer for the whole semester, how to match supply with demand. Processing, control, and scheduling. Other elements include inventory management, chapter 13, and purchasing. By the way, purchase or procurement manager is a very well-paid position. In the future, you can get this position like a procurement manager, or in many big companies, paid very good. But it may require lots of travel, because for the procurement management, maybe nowadays, usually you have to travel overseas to find the best supplier. But the payment is very good for purchase part. Suppliers monitor your supply quality. Location decision, as well as logistic, more information and materials. So that's supply chain. You can see, well, many of them, I would say more of them are the subsets of operations management too, forecasting, capacity planning. But given the complexity of supply chain, all these decisions, forecasting, capacity planning, inventory management, nowadays is not an internal decision. Okay, it is belong to operation management, no problem. That's the reason we cover. But nowadays, many of them are not internal decision. You can't determine by yourself. You can determine by yourself, but you are making the wrong decision if you really want to just make your decision. Most of the time, you have to work with your partners, your supplier, your downstream wholesaler, distributor, even your customer, get some survey. Then you will have a better forecasting, better inventory management. Okay, you will choose the best suppliers. You will get the great deal of the purchasing. So that's why traditionally all of them belong to operation management, but focus on supply chain management nowadays. It's clear for you guys? Why it's so important for supply chain? Because you think about, okay, like say 50 years ago, you open a business here, right, in Robinson County, or your supplier maybe from Cumberland County, and your customer are North Carolina. Why still you have to deal with your customers in North Carolina, drive to Raleigh, drive to Charlotte. Okay, you have to, many times you have to visit Cumberland County to check the supplies quality. 50 years ago. It still needs some collaboration, right, communication. But nowadays, your supplier come from 18 countries like Apple, all over the world. Your customer definitely can be any person all over the world. Then, so complex. Let's make supply chain so important. Okay, that's the end of chapter 1. Any question, comments? Chapter 1? Good? Okay, just give you guys a brief picture about operation management. Now, let's go seriously, right? Chapter 3. So, I want to tell you guys, okay, I don't like after 3 weeks when I post the homework 1, some student ask me, okay, you don't cover that, I don't remember you cover this. I cover everything in chapter 3. So if you have question homework, that's fine. Ask me, but I don't like to hear, okay, I don't think you cover any example. If you check cell phone or play with something in the class, you can be idle in the class, and then you don't understand homework exam, I will come back to you. You especially don't ask me, okay? Because in this chapter I will cover all the example you need for your homework to exam, okay? Very careful about that because it's very quantitative chapter. Okay, chapter 3, forecasting. The objectives, you can list elements of a good forecast. Outline the steps in the forecasting process. We'll describe at least 3 qualitative forecast techniques and the advantage and disadvantage. We are talking about qualitative and quantitative approach to forecasting. Then, a lot of models. Average technicals, trend technicals, seasonality, regression analysis, and solve the problems. But more than that, next. Explain 3 measurement forecast accuracy, and evaluation and controlling of forecast. Last, we'll talk about the trade-off to consider when to choose a forecast technique. So, forecast, by definition, is very simple. It's just a statement about the future value of variable of interest. So, for this definition, we want to pay attention to here is the variable of interest. You don't forecast something you are not interested in, or it doesn't matter, right? You don't care, okay? When your friend will marry, you don't care, right? Probably, even if you care. But if you don't care, you don't want to spend time to forecast that, right? We make forecasts about such things as weather, demand, and resource availability, right? But the only reason we make that is related to our stuff, right? For example, weather. If we are doing ice cream business, well, most likely it matters. But for some other business, probably weather, if you are doing e-business, doesn't matter too much. But demand, I would say, for almost every industry, every company, is very important to have a good demand forecast. Resource availability, and to forecast your available people, right? Machine time during this production, and the material, how much material you have on hand. It's very, very important to make informed decision. So important. Right. So many other parts of organization are affected by forecasting, such as finance, human resource, marketing, MS, product design. No problem. My question for you guys is, okay, for the internal parts of the operation management, which functions do you think are affected by forecasting? I've asked this question before in chapter 1, but I want to re-emphasize it. Which functions, give me some examples, or activities that are affected by your forecasting decision?
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing, you mean production, right? Production, definitely. Production plan, right? How big of your demand forecasting? And then you adjust your plan. Anything else?
Inventory.
Inventory, of course. Patrick, right? Inventory. Of course, because you have to prepare the inventory for your customers, right? Anything else?
Scheduling.
Scheduling, very good. Right. Just, huh?
Liz Ann.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, yeah.
Elizabeth, yeah. Because I do try to remember your name, but I look at your sign sheet, but yeah. I'm losing a grade. My memory is not so good. My wife complains a lot. I forget this, forget that. So kitchen, there are lots of things at home. So scheduling definitely is a problem, right? So you want to schedule people. If you don't have enough people to satisfy the demand, you have a huge problem. Something else, for example, we have talked about long-term decision, capacity planning, location decision. Or it can be a long-term forecast, like whether you want to open another Walmart. It can be a forecast next week. It can be a forecast next decade. But it's still related to the forecast. We'll talk about long-term and short-term forecast in this chapter too. Very good. So we have a lot of functions or activities influenced by forecast. So I can tell you, sometimes forecast is easy. Sometimes I like to give you like trivial example to make myself silly, right? Like I said, I can perfect match supply with demand if I don't hold these products. Supply is 0, demand is 0, right? But it's useless. But I just want you guys to open mind, right? To know that some extreme case you can understand that. Okay, my silly case, you don't hold anything means okay, it can be matched, but it's hard. It's useless. Forecast is the same. For example, I can be a perfect weatherman. Don't trust me? 1 minute later, it's still sunny weather. Trust me, right? Most likely, I would say 99.99% correct. I can say 1 second later, it's still sunny. Almost 100% correct. Useful? Useless. It's a forecasting, right? But it's really useless. You can see the forecast that you can make some forecast. You can make a perfect forecast. Like Charles or you. No training of a weather forecast. We can make good forecast, but it's useless. Forecasting can be only useful for other departments or activity. Okay, given that time. Forecasting itself creates no value. That's my personal feeling, right? You make a forecast, you just provide a number. You say, okay, next week's demand of chicken wings in KFC, right? Blah, blah, 1,000. But you just provide a number. The number itself doesn't create any value. Agree with me? The number itself doesn't create. Okay, you forecast the value, you have perfect weather forecast tomorrow. Does this create value? No. Until that part, you finish your forecast, no value. The value is created is by other departments or other activity to use this forecast. My forecast is useless because, well, I tell you even 1 minute ago, okay, if let's say it's raining, can you get umbrella? Most likely not, right? It's not enough time to prepare this forecast or change. But you make the forecast for chicken wings, for KFC for next week. It's so useful because they can purchase that or increase their purchase, hold their inventory, or do some promotion, do all the stuff to prepare this demand forecast. That's how forecast is used, and it's very important for other functions. Okay, we'll talk about features common to all the forecasts. Okay. The first one is technicals. We assume some underlying causal system that exists in the past will persist into the future. Let me explain that to you. So when we make the forecasting, well, maybe you don't think about that way, but we always have some assumption. For example, my silly example, I make the forecast of the weather 1 minute later, right? I have very strong assumption. My assumption is that weather doesn't change so frequently, right? It's also like quantitative physics, right? So every second it's changing. But weather is not changed by minutes or by second. So with this strong assumption, I'm very confident about my forecast 1 minute later. Okay. But for some other physical situation, you can't. 1 minute is huge, very long time, right? But for weather, okay, this very strong assumption works. Similar here. If you want to make a forecast for, like, say, your demand, you have to see some trend. Okay, let's say this is your chicken wings demand. If you want to forecast for next week, it's very easy. Okay, you draw this straight line. You say, okay, it's increase and it will hit some point, right? But when you use this method, you have a very strong assumption. You say, this increase trend or whatever trend it has in the past 4 weeks will keep the same in the next 1 week. If you don't have this assumption, you can't use historical data. Historical data is useless. If you have learned some physics, you know that's right. Einstein's theory. Well, in some physical phenomena, doesn't matter. Historical observation doesn't matter at all. It's totally random for future. And in this situation, we can't make any forecasting because, or you can make a random judge, but guess, but it's useless for the historical data. But for most industrial phenomena observation, we find there's very strong connection between what we have now or past, or what we have in the future. That's the reason we can build a model from the history and use the model we build to make the forecast. Right? Otherwise, no points to build a model. Well, just give a random guess. That's the first assumption. Second, we know that perfect are not perfect. Oh, sorry, forecasts are not perfect. Or another word to say that is all forecasts are wrong. We have the other mistakes. But they're still different, right? Everybody's not perfect, but still, why Usain Bolt run much faster than you? Why Michael Phillips swim much faster than you? Well, we are not perfect at all. Nobody can compare with some animals, right? By running or swimming. But people were different. Same. You make a forecast, she make a forecast. Well, no forecast is perfect, but we can compare which one is still better. Okay, third and fourth one. Well, if I never work as a supply chain industry, I think I will spend like 1 minute just read the third and fourth bullets. That's all of this. But now, we're preparing for 10 minutes for 3 and 4 bullets. Okay, let me explain why we have 10 minutes to explain that. The third one, forecasts for groups of items are more accurate than those for individual items. So I need a volunteer to explain this to us. Forecasts for groups of items are more accurate than those for individual items. What does this mean?
Because individual decisions are much difficult to predict.
Could you give an example? Like group decisions easy, individual decision is harder. Other students maybe think about the example. Yeah, I'm not asking about English explanation of this sentence. I'm asking about the example. Okay, think about the scenario. Okay, why some individual items are hard and group items are easy for forecasting?
Because you know that most of the time when people buy hot dogs or hamburgers, they're also going to buy ketchup and mustard and probably chips. So if you group those together, you'll have a more accurate forecast as to seeing which one's going to increase.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Is that how to say, the products are associated to each other, and then they're combined together. They have very strong positive relationship. Then it's pretty easy to make the forecast. Okay, if you base on forecast of hot dog, it's pretty easy to forecast ketchup or some other drink, Coke. Then that's a good example. Yeah, agree with her? Right? Another example I want to mention is that you think about the similar products. It's not exactly like ketchup versus like hot dog. They are like the supplemental product. You think about shampoo, like think about shampoo, right? You go to Walmart, you want to buy a shampoo. It can be like Head and Shoulder, Pantene, Dove, different brand, right? Different brand of shampoo, right? So they are definitely competitor. You only want to buy one shampoo. You accept situation you want to hold a lot. But if you, especially for boys or men, right? Here, we go to Walmart. We want to buy, let's say, Head and Shoulders, or that, but they stock out the Walmart Head and Shoulders. Many of us just pick whatever labs, Pantene, right? Dove. You care a lot. I don't care too much, right? Most likely we are run out of shampoo. That's the reason we go to Walmart, right? As a man, right? So we get the stuff we need. Still shampoo, and we use that. So in this situation, this group is not supplemental. They're not supplemental. They are even head-to-head competitor. You think about Pepsi versus Coca-Cola, very similar example, right? Many times I get confused. I don't remember which restaurant or fast food has Coca-Cola and some other restaurant only have Pepsi brand. I went to a fast food. Let's have a Coke. They say we don't have Coke. It's fine, Pepsi, right? So it's like this. Okay, in this situation, it's pretty easy or easier to make the forecast for the shampoo's demand, like daily shampoo demand in Walmart. Then individual, okay, Head and Shoulder, Pantene, Dove, okay, men's brand, female's brand, it can be very complex. And why it's so important? We know that, right? We know that it's easy. Why it's important is that when you make a forecast of a group, it's still, if it's accurate enough, you can still sell most of them to a customer instead of making individual forecast. Because like customer like us, we are not picky. We go to Walmart, even your Head and Shoulder is out of stock. Okay, your P&G's product is out of stock. We can pick up Unilever's products. It's okay for us. So if you are managing Walmart, you don't need to put a lot of effort. Which product should hold 10 units, 20 units, 15 units? Instead, okay, for the shampoo, I need to hold 15 units. And then maybe you can easily give a factor of Procter & Gamble products, Unilever product. That's what you need to worry. Otherwise, you spend a lot of efforts, more money to make individual items forecasts, and your benefits, your margin benefits, very little. Clear? It's clear for you? So my experience, when I work as a consultant, we make demand forecasts for Procter & Gamble, Unilever. I can tell you, most of companies only ask to make a forecast on the group level. They call it, okay, in the database, similar group. That's the name, the column name in the database, like similar group. Okay, they have different numbers, but you call it 1, 2, 3. For example, 1 can be shampoo, 2 can be like some beans, 3 and can be rice, different products, right? But this shampoo can have like 10 different brands of shampoo. Rice can have like Chinese rice, Korean rice, Mexico rice, like Thailand rice. Okay, but we make the forecast is here. Similar group. Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Crafts, they will, let's say this is rice, right? They will further, okay, determine the forecast for Chinese rice, Japanese rice, Thailand rice. Similarly, if this is shampoo, they will determine further the forecast for Head and Shoulder, Pantene, and Dove, blah blah, right? So what they will do is that they only require us to make a good forecast on the group level, because they know that we are not as good as they to make individual forecast. Because individual forecast is really fluctuation. It's not just based on your historic data. One brand can have a promotion this week. It's really hard to tell us in early, right? So, but for the group forecast, it's pretty stable. So they only require us to make the similar group levels forecast, and then they will then decompose the group level forecast to individual level. Most time, how they decompose? Very simple. Times some percentage. Say, okay, by historical data, Head and Shoulder 30%, right? Pantene 40%, Dove another 30%. And it's pretty simple. You just get your group forecasting and times the percentage of each individual brand. Then you get individual forecast. You think about if you want to build a model for each individual item, that's a huge work instead of this method. And then the end result is very similar. It's pretty similar. You save a lot of money, save a lot of energy or efforts, and you get very good result. You always think about that. They can replace each other. Well, you may have a better forecast on head and shoulder, but as long as you have enough Pantene and Dove, many customers can accept that. So that's why it's so important. So my suggestion for you guys is the same. Okay, when you work for the company, okay, I know you can be very busy, right? You can't say I only give 100 products. It's a lot of work. If you want to build the Excel templates for each product, just can consume 8 hours per day for you. It's like a full-time job, right? You should always think about, okay, first grouped item. It's your decision. It's not, I can't teach you how to group item. Different company or different industry have different criteria. Say these items are related to each other, so we group together, right? So group the item are very important, which I can't teach, but you know that. After you make the group forecast. The final results, you decompose your group forecast to individual level. You can use very simple historic analysis to calculate percentage of sales of individual item, get the forecast. Clear? Question, comments? Clear? So you can see that if I don't work as an industry, this is theory. This theory we all understand the theory as you mentioned, right? We understand this theory. How to use that? How to use the theory? Okay. That's when I work in industry, I tell you, most companies use this theory a lot. The reason I think about Unilever, Procter & Gamble, they have millions or at least half millions of different products. Can you believe that? Because they're a global company, right? They have more than 10,000 or 100,000 products. If you give individual product forecasting, it's going to kill you. Even our software run much slower. You have to wait 2 days after I give the forecast. They can't accept that too. Right? And also, you can see the marginal budget is very low. It's very low. I know we charge them a lot, $200 per hour. If you want to run individual for, I can do that. Give me $200 per hour for each single minute, each single hour I've spent. So that's the reason. Okay, the last one. Forecast accuracy decrease as the forecasting horizon increase. Another volunteer to explain this to us. What does this mean?
Wasn't that so? If we're trying to forecast, like we were talking about the weather, forecasting a week from now is more difficult than forecasting a minute from now.
That's right. That's exactly what this means. Patrick's mentioned. So which means, okay, long-term forecasting is not as accurate as short-term forecast. Agree with that? It's a very simple example, like I make a city forecast, the best city forecast, right, for next minute or next second. But we also know, okay, this theory is true. That's how to use this theory. Is that related to our daily job? Yes. Let me explain that, right? So definitely 12 minute forecast, weather forecast is useless. Right? It's a very silly example to make the forecast for next minute. But let's say you can make a good forecast 12 hours later. Can it be used? It can be for some industry, right? Instead of some other industry, they can only use the forecast 24 hours later. So you can think of the reaction time is the key. You make your forecast, say, okay, let's say our demand forecast is easy to understand, right? You make your demand forecast for next week, for 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. But different departments, they need a different reaction time for your forecast. I give you one example is that for many transportation, capacity planning, right? Okay, you say your forecast your demand will increase a lot in the next 1 month. The capacity demand will tell you, okay, we need to rent a machine and have a maintenance, train an employee. I can only use the forecast 4 weeks later because I need 3 weeks to prepare. Right? If you tell me, okay, you need to increase double the production rate, I can't do that. No machine available, right? No temporary worker available. So I can only use your forecast 4 weeks later. That's for capacity planning. Understandable, right? Understand? But on the other hand, for example, transportation departments, 1 week may be enough. Say, okay, you tell me the forecast next week. Now I can schedule our trucks and drivers to satisfy your forecast next week. 1 week is enough. Some other schedule, maybe 3 days enough, right? You tell me the forecast 3 days later, what's happening in Walmart for Lion. I schedule people. I tell those people, okay, my employee, okay, I only can give you 3 days advance notice about schedule. This can work. But if some other company, they say, okay, they have to arrange the schedule 1 month ago, wow, that's you need to use the forecast 1 month later. This creates a huge difference on the performance of company. Okay, this almost has nothing to do with forecast. Give you an example. So my previous job, right, when I was consultant, we run our software, we tune in the different models, we give the results of our clients. For each client, we treat them equally. Okay, no matter you are Procter & Gamble or Shell or Unilever or Kraft, I give you 13 weeks forecast. Which means if I run my model, run the software on Saturday or Friday, we make forecast for week 1, 2, 3, 4, until week 13. So that's our forecast. We provide this forecast for all the customers. Procter & Gamble, Unilever. So it's fair, right? We are in the same page. Okay. Terra Technology provide this for us. But there's only one company, at least before I left. Okay. Only one company of our all 500 levels client, they can use week 1 forecast, which means we provide a forecast on Friday or Saturday. For 2 days later, they use this forecast. Some of their department, I believe some other one they don't use, but it's useful for them. Could you give a guess which company? You must know the name. The headquarters is in Cincinnati. US brand. You buy that, a lot of products. P, begin with P.
There you go.
Yes, Procter & Gamble. They are the only client who can use our week 1 for Procter & Gamble. Okay, you tell their results Saturday. They have people to implement this forecast for some department. I guess maybe inventory management, probably, or transportation. Okay, they use week 1. All other clients I work for, Unilever, Kraft, they tell us that I can only use your week 2 or week 3 forecast. Your week 1 forecast I know is the best. We all know that is the best, but we can't use that. Our reaction time is not this short. They only use week 2, week 3. Do you see the problem here? Any problems?
It's gonna be less accurate.
Yes. Well, they have the same person, the same company use the same software, make not exactly the same performance, but different companies have different data sets or depends on products. But let's say even they have the same forecast, but the forecast accuracy is totally different. The reason that if Procter & Gamble can use week 1 forecast, Unilever can only use week 2, and Shell use week 3. Automatically, a huge difference on the forecast accuracy. But this has nothing to do with forecast. This has nothing to do with your model, with your method. This has something to do with collaboration, as we mentioned, right? Other departments use forecast to create value. Our forecast just give you a number. I give you 13 weeks number. Okay, you use this number, you implement this number. But inventory, transportation, other departments or different companies. If you can only use, let's say you are in the small bit, you can only use like 13 weeks later, which is about 3 months later. Trust me, some companies still need 3 months to make their decisions. Okay, you can help me. You pay $200 to me per hour. It's not supposed to do that. Definitely, you will lose money because I can't provide a very good forecast 13 weeks later. No matter how strong of your background, how strong of your machine, it just can't. Right? 13 weeks. How can I do that? Right? I can try my best, but forecast accuracy is pretty low. But if you can use my week 1, week 2 forecast, it's probably worth it for you to help me or help this company do that. Fine. So that's a huge difference. How can we use the short-term forecast? Training, right? Short reaction, like Toyota, we mentioned just in time. A lot of things we have to do. And you have to change the mind. Many managers in the company, they say, okay, I use that 20 years. You heard about that, right? We use that for 10 years. It works well. Yeah, use 10 years for schedule next month. Can you change that? I know that's okay. 10 years ago, you only need to worry about, okay, let's make your schedule next month. Okay, you have 3 days vacation, you have 5 days light shift. Yeah, that's perfect. And we like that. As an employee, we enjoy it. We know that's 1 month. We probably want to know 1 year in advance, right? But it's quite a problem. Okay, when you use forecast, can you change that to 2 weeks? Give 2 weeks notice? Can you change that maybe we make the first scheduling, but you have some flexibility for some change? If you add the flexibility, if you shorten the reaction time, you automatically have a much better use of forecast, save a huge amount of money. Think about inventory, think about transportation. Many times we go to the store and the company, they say, okay, sorry about that, you have to wait 2 weeks, you have to wait 3 weeks. Well, even when you place the order, they say 3 weeks, 2 weeks. It doesn't make too much sense now in the industry. If some company like Procter & Gamble, they can use forecast 2 days later, that's the best practice. You should set this as your criteria. It's clear for you guys? I think I spent more than 10 minutes on these 2 bullets, as I mentioned. But it's free. It's free implementation. You think about it, now we don't know any forecast model. It's automatic if you can persuade yourself, your manager, your colleague to short-term forecast. You don't need to hire some expensive consultant. Automatically you will get much better forecast. You save a lot of money. If you know that you group the item together, you make a forecast, you save a lot of money. You get similar result forecast. It's a free suggestion, free implementation. Keep that in mind. Question, comments over these slides? I already spent 20 minutes on this slide, right? So boring. Okay, elements of a good forecast should be timely. It doesn't make sense. Okay, if I make a forecast for weather tomorrow, I tell you I need to wait 24 hours to calculate the weather tomorrow. It's too late. Right? It must be timely. Should be accurate, but it depends on your target level. The more accurate the forecast, most likely you will spend more money or efforts. Reliable. Your forecast can be very good in the next week, but become very bad the week later. That's not a good forecast. I want to have a robust, reliable forecast for long term. Expressed in minimal units. As I mentioned, when you write any model say y equal to 10 plus x, you have to tell me the units of this forecast. Is that by unit or by package? Or by whatever you use, or liter or something like that. So you have to tell us, after I plug into this model, what's the units we get for the forecast? Right? Should be in writing, or at least most likely in the software. Right? Some record, right? Should be some record. Hopefully, technically should be simple to understand and use. But in fact, Fortune 5 company, they use technically very complex. When they help us to do that, okay, they know that we can provide a very complex model. For the manager, they don't have time to understand each detail of the model, how you build that model. They know the general idea, but they don't have, they are so busy, it's not their job, right? But hopefully, it's still simple to understand. At least if you build this model, you should be able to explain easily to your manager, to a client. You use very complex model. You should explain the general idea, okay, how we get this forecast. Should be cost effective. Well, that's a trade-off for the cost effective and accurate or reliable. Right? More accurate, which means most times more expensive. My suggestion that for small, middle-sized company, you probably want to do this by yourself instead of, okay, use SAP, Oracle to do that because it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Okay. I will share you guys with some forecast templates, right? That you can, but after you finish the homework one, that you can use this template, Excel templates, to make the demand forecast later if you work for the company as the beginning stage. Steps in the forecasting process. First, determine the purpose of the forecast. Well, weather, demand, how many people you need to have, material. That's your purpose. Next, time horizon. We have mentioned that before, right? You can do the same as like us did before, right? So we make the forecast for the week 1 until week 13. But this can take more effort. If you know, okay, I only need to make forecast 3 weeks later, then focus on, okay, how to make forecast 3 weeks later. But if you have time, you can make a week 1 to week 10 forecast. Third one, obtain, clean, and analyze appropriate data. Okay, I want to talk about this one. Data. Why we need to obtain the data for our forecast? Why? Why we need data? Data?
Well, we need something to base our forecast on.
That's right. Because data, without data, we can't build a model. When we talk about model, right? These data are historical data. not the current of, we don't know future data, it's historical data. It's constantly too old. Get 1985 data, low, it's most likely useless, right? Should be historical data, but still, okay, pretty close to now. Then you have the data, you analyze the data, you clean the data. Next step, you can build a model. So let's talk about a typical project I was doing when I was consulting. A typical project we implement like demand forecast to renewable crops. It usually takes 1 year. They need to continue to give us money for 1 year's job, right? Pretty expensive. So during 1 year's job, usually like first 1 or 2 weeks, 2 months is like kick-off meeting, meet them together, talk about let them know what we need, and they begin collect data. They give to us. Okay, almost from the second month, we already get the first set of that data. Then we clean data. We do that. Obtain, clean, and analyze data. Oh, this can be a long process. Usually, we spend 3 months. 3 months before jumping to any model. 3 months to clean, analyze data. In India, you know, that's probably the worst project I have ever done. Right? Indian renewable projects, we spent half a year. Still, we didn't get good data sets before jumping to any model. The data just totally crappy. Right? It's not just missing data, mismatch. We have to go very deep to analyze data, try different models, see why it doesn't work. My previous CTO in my previous company, he's a Russian guy. He has a PhD in math department in Princeton. That's our previous CTO in my previous company. Math PhD from Princeton. One famous thing he talked about data in my company is that he said, garbage in, garbage out. No matter how good is of your software, how many PhD you have to analyze this data, you have garbage data in. I can guarantee you have garbage out. That's why we spend 3 months to half a year to analyze data. The rest parts can be simple, trust me. Data, hardest part in many situations. Unfortunately, I can't teach you guys. How to analyze data. It's not operation management. Even your homework in the example, it's all clean data. I give you data sets, you run the model, you make a forecast, all clean data. Right? Don't like the bad data, garbage, right? It will take you 3 days instead of 3 hours. Right? But in reality, deal with the data can be the most important. Keep that in mind. Don't rush. My suggestion is, okay, you want to make a forecast, somebody give you Excel data. You don't just, okay, click some data, okay, run the regression. Don't do that. Look at data, check the data, okay, test data. Before running to any model we are introduced from next week, you want to see like 10 models. You have a lot of weapons on hand. But before you decide which weapon to use, you want to check the quality, right? If the quality is bad, the bullets is bad. No matter how fancy your weapon, useless, right? So, very important. After you clean the data, you find what data set is good to use. Then you select the forecast technique. We will introduce a lot. You have a lot of choices. Make the forecast. Then after several months, okay, you should monitor every second. But usually we only check back like once per week, once per month, or depending on your company. Right? We check the forecast, but it's still good. If it's not good, then maybe we have to change our technique, change the model. Right, like 3 months, the trend change. It's not an increase trend. Then we have to change the model too. Right? We do it again. Okay, it's the closed loop. Do it again. So that's step of forecast process. Any question or comments? No. Okay, that's the end of today's class. We'll see you guys on next Monday.